Hi, this is Rusty, and this is the first episode of what I hope to be probably a long series for Political Llama. And that's what I decided to call the channel. And there's a lot that we need to talk about day in and day out about things that are going on that people need to hear about. Today, this is the 14th of April on 2025, and things have been crazy, right? I mean, last week we saw the stock market just go nutters because the Grand Orange one decided to start implementing tariffs all over the place, and huge ones. And I'm sure if you follow politics at all, you've seen the math about how he calculated what he was going to do and how it's all garbage. And it's based on trade deficits or sometimes trade surpluses that he's still hitting people with. And it's a thing that really is not that important. It really is not that important. We run trade deficits all the time as regular people. When I go to the gas station, when I go to the grocery store, I have a trade deficit with them. I have a trade surplus with my boss or my employer because I get paid and they don't buy anything from me, so I have a surplus. And those are just things that happen all the time. I get goods in return for the money I pay, or they get services in return for the money they send me, right? It's just the way kind of commerce works. That's the whole idea of having money, having an exchange medium that we can use to trade. What's really crazy though, when we look at that, there's a couple things. First, let's just take a look real quick at the fact that there are a whole list of countries that were in that chart of his that all had 10%. And the reason they all had 10% for the tariffs was because those countries have a trade surplus with us. According to Donald Trump's logic, then they should be zero because we have a trade surplus with them. But we're still punishing them and expecting them to buy even more from us. There's no rationale, no rhyme or reason for what he's even doing for setting these tariffs. Second, you've probably heard this over and over ad nauseum, but we, the people of the United States, pay the cost of those tariffs that he implements. These are taxes on us. In essence, they're a sales tax. When Kamala Harris talked about that Trump was going to impose a sales tax on the American people, she was right, because that's what tariffs really are. More importantly, there's no reason or rationale behind what he's doing. It changes every 24 to 36 hours. He can't make up his mind. And there's no reasoning behind it. It's not like within 36 hours there was some big change in our relationship with the other countries to justify changing these positions. When you're in negotiations, you hold a position until you're given something to make it worthwhile to give up your trading position. And he's not doing any of this. So this whole thing, art of the deal, he's the great deal maker, it's all bullshit, okay? There is no art of the deal. There's just a stream of consciousness from him. The other thing is that he's trying to get two absolutely opposing results from the same thing. When you listen to him, at one point it's like, oh, we want them to reduce their tariffs and to get rid of their non-tariff problems that we have with trading with them. But then he'll turn around and say, this is so that we can onshore businesses to the United States. So totally different things. The other thing, though, is when he talks about putting tariffs on to bring onshore manufacturing, what this means is he's going to have to put those tariffs on, and they're going to have to be there for years to be able to force companies, to give companies the comfort to bring business back onshore if they even can. So this whole thing of dropping them after a day or two or three or even a week, this is not what you do if you're trying to onshore manufacturing. Basically, when you're trying to onshore manufacturing through tariffs, which it almost never works anyway, it's a terrible way of doing that. But if you're trying to do it that way, you have to have tariffs high enough so that it makes it economically feasible for the companies to bring business back on shore, and it has to be in place long enough for them to realize a return on their investment. That's the big MBA kind of talk, return on your investment. That's what businesses always talk about, return on investment. If I'm going to put money and time in to building factories and onshoring this, how long before I start seeing a profit from them? And when you take a look, just take a look at the automotive industry. It could take 3 to 5 years to build a plant and cost multiple billions of dollars. Okay, so let's say it's 5 years. So they go 5 years, they build a new plant, billions of dollars invested, but now they have to get a return on that investment. So now it's like, okay, now we're building in the United States, so we can build for less than whatever the tariffed good is that we've been bringing in. And maybe that means we get an extra $1,000 a truck. How many cars and trucks need to be sold at that extra $1,000 of profit by being able to do this onshore instead of offshore, just to break even, just to make up the billions of dollars? Okay, this is going to take years to recoup that investment of multiple billions of dollars per plant, per manufacturing plant. So this is why tariffs have to be in place for a very, very, very long time. And in the meantime, us as American citizens are going to be paying more for those goods. And when you're looking at something that's at the beginning of the supply chain, like aluminum or steel, not only does this affect the cost of aluminum and steel, but it's going to affect the cost of cars and trucks and beer cans and pop cans and toasters and all the other things that are used to make this. And all that cost will cascade down to make all our other products more expensive as well. Think about Trump and you listen to people like Tommy Lahren and Sean Hannity and all the Fox News crew and all these others, and they're talking, ooh, art of the deal, he's so masterful. He's not. He's a blithering idiot. This is Rusty with Political Llama.